And it's amazing to me how early on, regardless of the household they grow up in, how early on they know there's right and there's wrong. And they can't maybe even say the words, but they know. And how do you know they know? You just look in their face when they come walking in the room. You know? Did you take care of that? And it's like, man, you are the most terrible liar in the world. Don't ever learn how to lie. Don't get better at that. But they just know. It's innate. It's built into every one of us. It's built into the nature, the dust of the earth that God used to create us, I believe. Because higher functioning animals know it as well. Over the years, we've had dogs and big dogs. We don't have one anymore. It's too hard after the last one to try and get another one. But we had Labradors. And our last Labrador was the sneakiest dog I've ever known in my life. He was a wonderful dog. Wonderful dog. First 3 years, he drove us crazy just getting out of we have a backyard. If the gate was open, boom. If you just open it up to come in, boom, he was gone. And then it was like running around the neighborhood, trying to entice him with lunch meat and, whatever it would take. And then he actually got hit by a car when he ran out in the street in front of our house, and fortunately wasn't hurt. But man, it changed. He got saved that day. From that day on, you could have the gate standing open. He'd go out and look. Or he might take one step, but he didn't go out there. Now, you do know I'm joking, right? That there's salvation for human beings. There is talk about eternity and animals somehow, and we are judged by how we treat our animals. There's the whole thing about animals. But Jesus came to save mankind, not dog kind or cat kind. But that dog of ours knew how, as big as he was, 85 pounds or something like that. He had the most dexterous front paws. And he actually had a habit of lying down, and he would cross his front paws like this. All right? But he would use those front paws for things, that pick things apart, or if he was eating, he'd hold it. He would hold his bone like a popsicle stick, right, between his two paws, and he would not. He one time, those little gold coins you get, chocolate gold coins you get at Christmas? Okay, you know where I'm going with this. Yeah, I got up one morning, and our bedrooms are upstairs, and down at the bottom of the stairs, I can see these shiny gold objects. And I get down there. Sure enough, he'd found a bag of these things, and he had broken open that netted bag carefully, and he didn't pierce even one of those gold coins with his teeth. He pulled them apart with his front paws and ate every single one of them. Didn't get sick. I don't know. He has got an iron stomach or something. I don't know. His name was Duncan. And I came down. I saw that. Duncan? He knew. He knew. If I just said it in a certain voice, when he would sneak, I'd be eating, I'd get up to get a drink, lay my sandwich down on the coffee table, come back, half the sandwich is gone. Duncan? It's built by nature, even in high-functioning animals. And we as human beings, it's part of what God built in us, an awareness of law, of right and wrong. And we wrestle with the definition of that and finding how to put that right and wrong in the right place. And when we come to Jesus Christ, some wonderful things happen about how that law works in us. But we all have it, and we all have something else. We all understand that when someone does something wrong, when we do something really wrong, somebody's got to pay. Somebody's got to pay. Oh, politicians use it like crazy. Preachers use it like crazy sometimes. Anybody who wants to gather a group of people around, man, one of the easiest ways to manipulate a group of people is to define a common enemy and then gather around and build the fires to define how bad they are and find a way to take care of this, because we all know they've stepped outside of our group and they need to pay. That's what the military is built upon. That's why nations' armies survive. It's not just because they have the bigger guns or more people. It's because there's an instilling into the heart based on that fundamental, elemental thing. If somebody did something wrong and somebody's got to pay, hey, remember Pearl Harbor. Hey, remember the Alamo. Hey, remember 9/11. Yeah, that touches that deep part of inside of us that's right. And so the definition of what the wrong is and what the payment should be, well, that changes and we can redefine it depending on culture, religion, or anything else. But that understanding is innate within us. And you can see it in little children as well. They get to an early enough age to talk, and pretty soon what happens? Parents are in one room, all the kids are in the other room. Sooner or later, somebody's going to come in and say, he did this and he did. What are they saying? He should pay. He did something wrong. He needs to pay. Right? It's built within us. Those are the elemental things of the world. And now catch this. Those two things keep us from fully living in the liberty in Jesus Christ. Especially the second one if we don't understand it correctly. But both of them do. And that's what Paul is getting at here. That's what Paul is getting at here. God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under law, to redeem those who were under law. Under this, there's right and there's wrong. Yeah. It isn't that that's not true. Oh man, somebody's got to pay for the wrong. And it isn't that that's not true. They're both true. But if that's what we live under totally, then we are living under law, we are living under a burden, we are living under a burden we can never live up to, because we will always find ourselves doing wrong, and we will feel that either ourselves or somebody else, because we can find somebody who does more bad things than we do, somebody else needs to pay or we need to pay, so we'll become angry at other people or just self-righteous, or we become burdened underneath this great weight of our own guilt and condemnation because we can't live up to this law that we know is true.